What's up, Broncos country? Denver. Broncos family, brace yourselves because this was one of those games that takes years off your life. You think you've seen everything this season? Well, hold on tight. Our team just survived a true hell against the Commanders in overtime, and when I say survived, it's because it literally came down to the very last play possible. We're going to break down everything that happened on this insane night in Washington. But first, let me tell you something. If you're not subscribed to this channel yet, man, you're missing out on exclusive content about your favorite team. So go ahead and drop that like too, because this analysis is going to be historic. Let's get straight to the point. The final score shows Denver Broncos 27, Commanders 26. But that number doesn't tell even half the drama that went down at Northwest Stadium. We came into this game with 9 straight wins, absolute leaders of the AFC West, and with a 10-win, 2-loss campaign that puts us as one of the hottest teams in the entire league. But family, this 10th win came in the most painful way possible. The first half was that typical thing from our style this season: defense suffocating, offense working, building the score brick by brick. Will Lutz nailed a 33-yard field goal right off the bat after our defense held strong in the red zone. You could see the plan was clear: impose our physical game, control the clock, make the opponent desperate. Only the Commanders didn't read the script. Bo Nix, our rookie sensation quarterback, started doing what he's been doing all year: smart decisions, accurate passes, managing the game. But there was a moment in the second quarter that changed everything. Dre Greenlaw made a spectacular interception on Marcus Mariota, and we took advantage to increase the score, 6-0. It seemed like everything was under control. Then Washington woke up. Chris Rodriguez responded with a rushing touchdown after a 72-yard, 11-play drive. And look, family, that was just the beginning of the nightmare. Because then came that play. Treylon Burks made a one-handed catch in the corner of the end zone that's being compared to Odell Beckham Jr., his iconic catch when he was still with the Giants. Riley Moss was glued to him, perfect coverage, and still the guy managed to bring in the ball. Absolutely insane. Suddenly, we were losing 14-13 in the third quarter. But Denver Broncos family, our team doesn't win 9 straight games by accident. R.J. Harvey, our rookie running back, took on the starring role we've been expecting since Dobbins got injured. 24 carries, 105 yards, and check this out: 3 rushing touchdowns. 3. The kid played like a veteran, imposed physical strength, found the holes, made the offensive line shine. And Bo Nix? Man, 321 yards through the air with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. But that pass he threw for the touchdown might have been the prettiest of his career so far. That ball came out spinning perfectly, absurd timing, total confidence in the receiver. That's what we're talking about when we talk about developing a rookie quarterback. But then comes the fourth quarter, and family, it was agonizing. The offense simply stalled when we most needed to close out the game. 4 straight drives in the last quarter: interception, punt, 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 nothing. 0 production. And that Nix interception was way too painful. Bobby Wagner read the entire play. Nix didn't even see the linebacker there in the middle of the field and handed the ball on a silver platter right to his chest. Washington gained life. Field goal. Hope. With 3 minutes on the clock, Marcus Mariota started a miraculous campaign. The guy everyone underestimated, who was replacing the injured Jaden Daniels, decided to have the game of his life. Big passes, correct decisions, absurd leadership. And look, our defense is elite, you know? 4th best pass defense in the league. Patrick Surtain, too, returning from injury specifically for this game. And still, Mariota found spaces. 3rd and 6. Game situation. Commanders risk everything. Mariota found the receiver. First down. Alive. Jake Moody enters the field. 32-yard field goal. Last play of regulation. The ball goes straight through the uprights. Overtime. Family, how many of you had your hearts in your mouths at that moment? Because I confess I did. We had controlled the entire game. Just to let it slip away like that? No way. It couldn't be like that. Denver won the possession in overtime, and then Sean Payton showed why he's one of the most respected coaches in the league. Called simple, effective plays, took advantage of the opposing defense's fatigue. Evan Engram made a huge catch in the middle of the field that took us to the red zone. And who else was going to finish the job? R.J. Harvey. His rushing touchdown, the third of the night. 7 minutes on the overtime clock. Denver 27, Commanders 20. Over? No, family, not over. Marcus Mariota, man, total respect for this veteran. He didn't give up. He put Washington on his back and started another impossible campaign. Accurate passes to Terry McLaurin, to Zach Ertz, who reached 106 receiving yards in the game, to Deebo Samuel. The defense was exhausted, you could see it. 4th down and goal at the 3-yard line. Mariota rolled left, found Terry McLaurin open in the corner. Touchdown! Northwest Stadium exploded. Denver 27, Washington 26. But Dan Quinn, Commanders head coach, didn't want a tie. He wanted to win right there. Brave decision, aggressive, one of those that either makes you a hero or destroys you. 2-point conversion attempt, the play starts. Mariota in shotgun, rush coming strong. He escapes, buys time, looks right. Jeremy McNichols is open. Open! The ball leaves the quarterback's hand spinning in the right direction, and then Nick Bonitto appears. Our pass rusher jumps, arm extended at the exact moment, and swats the ball in midair. The conversion doesn't happen. Game over. Denver Broncos win 27-26. Bonitto fell to his knees on the field. The guys exploded in celebration on the sideline. We survived. Broncos country family, was this the most painful win of the 9 straight? Probably. But a win is a win, and now the Denver Broncos have 10 wins and only 2 losses in the season. We're alone at the top of the AFC West, 2 games ahead of the Chargers, 3 ahead of the Chiefs. The division is practically wrapped up. First time we've won the AFC West since 2015. Can you believe it? 10 years, family, 10 years waiting for this. And look, we can still fight for the first position in the entire conference. We're just half a game behind the Patriots. Imagine having home field advantage throughout the postseason. Imagine the playoffs going through our stadium. But let's be honest here, too. This win lit up some warning signs. The team's last 4 wins came by a combined total of just 10 points. 10 points in 4 games. We're winning at the limit, in the details, on grit. And against the Commanders, who are 3-9 in the season, and playing with a backup quarterback, we almost gave away the game. Bo Nix had a 4th quarter to forget. That interception was a bad decision, wrong read, rookie mistake indeed. The offensive line couldn't open consistent running lanes outside of those specific Harvey plays. And the defense, which is our strong point, allowed 419 total yards to the Commanders. 419. That was the second highest total Washington managed all season. Jonathan Cooper, normally so disciplined and technical, had a below-par performance. Lack of discipline on routes, bad technique, and that allowed several big runs by Mariota. D.J. Jones got injured during the game, and we felt his absence there on the defensive line. Aoma Uwazurike came in and even made an important stop at the end, but it's not the same thing. Adam Trotman was a positive surprise. The tight end held firm in blocking all night and still made important receptions. Garrett Balls allowed only 1 pressure in pass protection, solid work from him too. And Ben Powers and Quinn Meinerz continue to be the backbone of our offensive line. But family, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Can we maintain this style of play in the playoffs? Because all the great teams in the league took ugly beatings in this Week 13. Everyone is vulnerable. And if we keep depending on last-second wins, heroic defenses in the final seconds, eventually luck will turn. Or is this exactly the DNA of championship teams? Finding a way to win even when not playing the best football? Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator, is doing a spectacular job. Patrick Surtain's second returned from injury specifically for this game, and already brought all that confidence to the secondary. Dre Greenlaw with that crucial interception in the second quarter. Talanoa Hufanga almost got another one in overtime, but was correctly called for interference because he arrived too early on the receiver. And we can't forget, 8 wins in games decided by one score this season. 8. That's a record or close to it. Shows resilience, shows confidence, shows this team believes until the last second. R.J. Harvey, 24 years old, making only his second start after Dobbins' injury, already showing he can be the future of the backfield. 105 yards, 3 touchdowns, and look, he was bad on several carries too. Left yards on the table. Couldn't get half the expected yards on several plays. But when it mattered, when he needed to put the team on his shoulders, he showed up. Now the math is simple. We have 6 games ahead, we're at 10 wins, and each victory brings us closer to the postseason. Next week we have Raiders on the road, and Las Vegas is dismantled. Just 2 wins and 10 losses. It's a game to confirm we're dominant in the division. Then comes Chargers at home. That's the real test. They have 8 wins and 4 losses. They're on our tail, and this game could definitively decide who takes the AFC West. Emory Moorhead Stadium will be boiling that day, family. You can be sure of it. And look, it doesn't matter how it was. Doesn't matter the suffering. 10 wins and 2 losses is an elite campaign in the NFL. We're among the last 2 teams with only 2 losses in the entire season. The other? Patriots at 10-2 as well. Total respect for them, but we can go toe-to-toe easily. If you're a true Denver Broncos fan, subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss any analysis, any play, any hot news about your team. We're here every day, bringing exclusive content, detailing each game, each decision, each move by the front office. Let's talk about something that flew under the radar too. Sean Payton is extracting the maximum from this roster. He took a team that came from mediocre years, reshaped the mentality, brought in a rookie quarterback, and is making him play at an absurd level for a first year. Bo Nix is making veteran decisions on most plays. Of course, there are still mistakes. That interception to Bobby Wagner proves it. But his growth is visible week after week. And the defense under Vance Joseph's command is simply spectacular. Even with important injuries like Surtins, who was out from Week 8 until now, the team continued being the second-best defense against opposing quarterbacks in fantasy points allowed. Think about the difficulty of that. You lose your best cornerback, the current Defensive Player of the Year of the league, and still maintain the highest level. Nick Bonito on that last play showed elite awareness. He saw Mariota buying time, saw the open receiver, knew he wouldn't reach the quarterback in time, so he changed focus, jumped, and swatted the ball. Pure instinct, a play that will be etched in all of our memories. Because, think about it, if that conversion goes in, we lose at home to a 3-8 team that's playing with a backup. The entire narrative changes. From resilient team that finds ways to win to lucky team that's living on the edge and will explode in the playoffs. But the play didn't go in. The ball was swatted, and we left with the victory. Zach Ertz for the Commanders had 10 receptions for 106 yards, passed Shannon Sharp as the 5th tight end with most receptions in the entire league. Total respect for this veteran. Terry McLaurin with 7 receptions for 96 yards. Marcus Mariota with almost 350 total yards against one of the best defenses in the NFL. They played incredibly, and still it wasn't enough. That's what separates good teams from great teams. You can play badly, you can make mistakes, you can let the opponent breathe when you should have closed the coffin, but in the end, you find a way. One play. An unlikely hero. A crucial defense. Broncos country, this win might not have been pretty, but it counts just the same. And when we're lifting the AFC West trophy in a few weeks, nobody will remember that we suffered against the Commanders in overtime. They'll remember we were 10-2, that we won 9 straight, that we dominated the division. Next challenge is next Sunday against the Raiders. Completely dismantled team after Pete Carroll fired offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. 2 wins and 10 losses, fighting not to be the worst team in the league. It's that type of trap game, family. Bad, desperate team playing against a division rival that's flying. Can't underestimate. But if there's something this season has proven, it's that this Denver Broncos knows how to deal with pressure, knows how to win ugly, knows how to survive when everything seems lost, and above all, knows that every win in this league is hard-earned, won in the details, in preparation, in execution. R.J. Harvey will need to maintain this edge. Bo Nix needs to eliminate these silly mistakes that still appear. The defense can't allow more than 400 yards, even if the final result is positive. There's room for evolution. There's space for growth. And thank goodness there is, because the playoffs will demand the best possible level. Patrick Surtain, too, being back is huge. That secondary with him on an island shutting down the opponent's best receiver changes everything. Allows Vance Joseph to be more aggressive in blitz schemes, more creative in coverages, more unpredictable. And when you have a front seven that already pressures well naturally, adding this freedom for the defensive coordinator is too dangerous for opponents. Will Lutz making those accurate field goals keeps us competitive in tight games. Special teams working well, without gross errors, without allowing big returns. These are the details that make a difference when the score is tight. Family, comment down below. What was the most tense moment of this game for you? Was it when Mariota found that pass on 4th down to keep the drive alive? Was it when Nix threw that interception? Was it when Harvey scored the touchdown in overtime, but you knew it wasn't over yet? Or was it when Benito swatted that 2-point conversion? Because each of those moments was crucial. Each one could have changed the outcome. And that's what's beautiful about this sport, right? One play defines everything, 1 second more or less. One right or wrong decision, there's no middle ground. Either you did it or you didn't. And the Denver Broncos did it, for the 10th time this season, against all odds sometimes, but did it. Now comes that boring part where we have to talk about the problems, because they exist, family, and pretending they don't exist would be dishonest with you. The offensive line needs to open more consistent holes in the run. R.J. Harvey is good, but he's not Superman. He needs space to work. Outside of those 3 or 4 explosive runs, he had difficulty all game. That's not sustainable. Bo Nix needs to stop forcing passes to the middle of the field when there's a linebacker there. That mistake against Bobby Wagner was amateurish. He's better than that. We know he's better than that. But he has to execute. Has to eliminate these reading errors that still appear. And the defense, even being elite, allowed 30 first downs to the Commanders. 30. That was the highest number Washington managed all season. Can't do it. Doesn't matter if you won in the end. Can't allow a bad team with a backup quarterback to dominate possession like that. Frankie Louvu with 4 tackles, 2 quarterback hits, 1 sack, 1 pass deflection, and 1 forced fumble. This guy is a machine. His 3rd sack of the season, and shows why he was one of the best signings by the Denver Broncos in the offseason. But Broncos country family in the end, what really matters? Victory. 10-2, 9 straight, alone at the top of the AFC West. Clear path to the playoffs. Everything we dreamed about in the preseason is happening. And you know what's crazier? This team still has room to improve, still hasn't played complete football, that perfect game from all 3 phases, for 60 minutes. When that happens, and it will happen, who's going to stop us? Let me ask you a serious question. How many of you at the beginning of the season believed we'd be 10-2 at this point in the championship? How many believed a rookie quarterback would lead us like this? How many believed the defense would be so dominant, even with important injuries? Because I confess I had hope, but I wasn't sure. And now I'm seeing this team competing equally with anyone in the conference. I'm seeing a coach making accurate adjustments. I'm seeing young talents taking the next step. I'm seeing veterans leading by example. This is Denver Broncos. Family, this is what we represent. Grit, determination, never giving up until the last second. From the legendary times until now, this has always been the organization's DNA. And this class of 2025 is completely honoring that tradition. Sean Payton, after the game, said he knew the team would have to survive difficult moments, that he knew it would be ugly sometimes, but that he trusts the mentality of these players. And man, he's absolutely right. Because mentality wins championships. Talent takes you far, but when it really gets tight, when everything's against you, it's mentality that makes the difference. Next week against the Raiders is a must-win. No excuse. Completely inferior team, playing poorly, without a fixed offensive coordinator now. Gotta go there, impose the game from first to last minute, and come back with win number 11. Then comes the tougher schedule with Chargers, possibly Chiefs, teams that will truly test us. But if we can maintain this momentum, if we can keep finding ways to win even playing below potential, man, the sky's the limit. And family, don't forget, sports are unpredictable. Any team can beat any team on any day. The Commanders almost proved that by nearly beating us today. That's why you can't underestimate anyone. That's why each game needs to be treated as a final. That's why weekly preparation is so crucial. Broncos country, this was another painful but extremely valuable win. Showed character, showed resilience, showed this team never gives up. Nick Bonito entering the gallery of unlikely heroes of this season with that two-point conversion defense. R.J. Harvey taking on the offensive starring role with 3 touchdowns. Bo Nix showing that even making mistakes, he still finds ways to make a difference. Share this video with all your Denver Broncos family friends. Drop that slick like to strengthen the channel. Comment down below what your reaction was when Bonito swatted that ball in the air. And if you're not subscribed yet, man, what are you waiting for? We're here daily bringing everything about your favorite team. Next video will be preview analysis against the Raiders. We're going to dissect the opponent, talk about strengths and weaknesses, and project how the game should go. Don't miss it because it'll be top-notch content. Broncos country family, a win is a win. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter by how much. What matters is we're flying toward the playoffs with 10 wins, only 2 losses, and a virtually guaranteed spot in the postseason. Until the next video, and may more victories come, and as always, go Broncos.